Come on. There you go. Good evening, folks. This is April 12th, the year of 2022, and this is Survivor's Circle. I'm Charles. This is Maria, and we are going to have an open kind of conversation day to day, mostly because all the news I could find was bad news. I didn't want to bring it up. So there. Okay. Or yeah. And I was late and I was lazy and I was doing other things, working on cars. It's Ohio when the sun shines. That one day in a month when it's actually nice to be outside, you try to get everything done. So that was me today. How
Well,
about
that's
you?
a good way to be. I worked all day and it rained all day.
Mm-hmm.
And then by the time I got ready to get off from work, the sun actually came out and it's beautiful out here now. It's 70 something degrees.
I
So,
think my temperature was 60. The, the thermometer says 67, but it sure feels nicer than that.
oh, I bet.
A little bit of sunshine goes a long way for me.
Well, it does. And usually the sun's out all day long at work.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I get ready to come home, it rains or gets cloudy or it gets cold
Yeah,
or whatever. So I'm pretty happy about what's going on right
you
now.
got it. You got it. They got it backwards for some reason or other.
Mhm.
Okay.
And I should have, I mean, if I could make the frogs settle down, I would, but they're
Nah,
really happy right
it
now.
just adds that happy ambiance. You know.
I guess. I guess. But anyways, I'm just glad the sun's out. We've got storms moving in tomorrow night, I believe. More rain.
Well, I heard on the radio somewhere yesterday that Ron's in for some bad weather.
Hmm.
That whole
Ron's
northern.
always got bad weather. I
I
don't
mean,
think he has any good weather.
I guess it was particularly bad for this year. This year. So
Gotcha.
yeah, we'll see what happens.
Hmm.
Hunker down. It's springtime. Everybody gets to be happy in springtime. Oh gosh.
I am excited
Um,
for springtime.
yeah. The only
And Andy, quit sending me shit in Skype. I am on there. Stop it.
what was the yeah. I think it's like COVID backlash or something because one
Hmm.
a actually a therapist that I've been listening to on YouTube for a while. She's got a good. She does a good job. Uh, I said, look, this is not easy. She does, I don't know, two a week or something. Two.
Hmm.
She says, I'm just burned out. you know, especially with after 2 years. I've done this all through 2 years of COVID. And a move and all kinds of other things. She says, and people are saying, you kind of looking kind of bad this week. You okay? You know, and you do.
Wow.
You get to the point where you identify with people to the point where you you care about them. You know.
Hmm.
And it's like everybody here. You're part of my internet family. And I care about all of you.
And
Even the dogs,
when
the cats, and the peepers.
can you hear her panting? I'm like, I need to
Yeah.
mute the mic or something.
Yeah. A more focused mic or something. I try something and I'll see if I can hear you.
Oh,
Or did
well,
you turn the mic down? No. Okay.
it's right here beside of me. I didn't do anything. Did you see what Bobby just put into?
KGRA YouTube is suspended as of now due to medical disinformation.
Is that not crazy?
I haven't been watching enough I really haven't been watching enough of the shows to say what the hell. Oh, I bet I do know.
What was it?
Tristan's show
Today?
I haven't. Well, I don't watch his show every day. I try to kind of audit once a week, but I'll bet that's the only one that does that kind of thing. So that's
But he was
you've got-
talking about
you've gotta
cats.
be-
I missed the.
yeah. Are the cats out chasing the?
I missed the cat thing, and I got signed in, and they were talking about the shooting that was going on in Brooklyn. Is
Yes.
it Brooklyn?
Yes,
So
I think well, New York City, somewhere in the subway.
it's crazy.
That was that was just strange.
That was an
Now,
odd
and
thing.
something that I saw later this afternoon indicated that they were concerned about the big basketball game that's coming up or something. What the heck?
It's one guy in Brooklyn. Come on.
Yeah, one crazy guy in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's more crazy. Well, a crazy guy with a gun. I guess that's probably not at all really uncommon in New York City anyway. Seriously.
No,
I mean,
I'd say not.
I guess it's not supposed to be that way, but any place that you outlaw guns, that just only outlaws and crazy people will have guns.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Well,
I mean,
one of them made the comment, nobody there has guns except for the police.
Oops, lost you. You're breaking up a little bit.
And criminals. Nobody else is allowed to have.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Well, next thing, it'll be Biden's getting ready to go door to door to collect the guns again. Because the thing that they just put into practice for the ghost guns, I'm all for that one. That was a tricky deal. What it is, it's a finished receiver, which is the working part of the gun. Everything else is parts. Okay, the receiver is the part is the basic framework of the gun. And what these ghost guns were like unfinished receivers. And since they're not finished, they don't need a serial number. And they're sold just as parts,
Right.
Well, the thing is, if I only have to drill, if it's already set up and I have to drill 1/8 inch hole in order to make it a workable firearm, that's a little bendy around the rules. So I don't mind those being gone. I mean, let's face the restrictions on people having a firearm at this time are not onerous to the point where it's but it's easy and it's far too easy sometimes to get a firearm. And anybody that wants I forget what there were something in the count in the sales count over the last 10 years. There are more guns in the United States than there are people, which I absolutely believe that. I have 3. Wait, yeah, I think it's still 3. It depends on that. Some of them I gave away, some might. Okay, but
But the thing about it is if you're going to commit a crime, you're going to find a gun, whether it's a ghost gun or not.
That's true. If the guy had smoke bombs, he could have just as easily had pipe bombs. Really done up a subway.
And I know he shot, but he didn't kill anybody, right?
I'm not sure.
I did on the
heard
news
like
on the
10
way
shot.
home.
10 shot, 16 injured. Okay.
Yeah, the number gone up to
well, that would be 16 people got fucking trampled in the melee.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Wouldn't surprise me at all. But no, it did not say anything. I don't believe there. Justin says, "Don't think anybody died." How about
Right,
that?
and
How about
Ron's saying he killed 10, so who knows?
Well, it was 10. I think it was 10 that were shot, and people kind of tend to
Exaggerate a
equate
lot.
equate shot to kill. That's in the movies. If they shoot you, you're dead. Boom, you're dead. No, it's not like that. A lot of people get wounded. Um, usually I thought I was beyond being shocked, but that one did shock me a little bit.
Well, we've not really had anything crazy like that to come out of there lately.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, and it was New York. I mean, that's the entertainment central, economic center of the United States, really. So, yeah, it was. Oh my God, Facebook view. Thank you.
Oh yes, they said that was out. Give permission to StreamYard, and that way your name will be on here too.
Yeah, I didn't. I have. That is crush victims prayer for all. Governor asked the word. Use the word individual over the word suspect.
Because he was black.
Okay. Well, I thought they were looking for a second person.
Oh, I don't know about that.
And searching somewhere in New Jersey. But
look here.
I'm not following. Yuffie. It's the peepers. It's the spring peepers. Yeah, we need to have those on like a loop for mornings. It's better than having a rooster crowing.
Well, and the funny thing about it is these little suckers are going on before the sun comes up. So I could come out here. Now, if I could get the dog to go run out there, they'd shut up. Because anything that moves through there, they'll stop chirping. But
Sadie, fetch.
Yeah. Yeah, she's been pretty lazy right now. At least she's not bothering me and all up in my face.
That's a good thing.
Today. Or right now at this moment.
Yeah.
But it's just I don't know. Springtime is really weird anyway. And we've not had any really major chaos other than Russia and Ukraine, and now our inflation is up.
How are the flyovers going today? Had any more?
No.
Big thunderous planes flying over your head?
Well, not today, because I mean, yeah, not since I've been home, thankfully. I guess they've quit hauling their equipment. But man, that was loud.
Yes.
I confused those military planes.
C-17.
Yeah, I took snapshots and kept those. Yeah, and one of them was the C-17A and or it has both of the Global Master. It had both of them listed as that.
Yes,
it was both of them.
Both C-17s.
Okay, I see that now.
There are different models. I was surprised.
I think that was the difference.
I was telling you about my adventure walking through a C-5A. And as I was looking through that stuff, I realized I was kind of shocked that the latest models of the C5 are an M. Okay, which means that's I don't know, 14 different iterations of that giant fucking plane.
Yes.
Yeah. That was we were talking about air shows, and it's coming on that season now. And they were going to have one of those, I believe, at an air show in Louisville next month.
They are. It's next Saturday.
Next Saturday. Okay.
But I don't know if I'll be able to. I'm sure whether I go to Louisville or I'm at home, I won't be able to see either one of them. So I'm burning incense, so all the smoke's
I
I'm
haven't
trying to
been.
move
I
it to
haven't
where
been
it's not.
to one of those for a while, and it was a lot of fun. It was. I'm kind of a geek with military planes anyway,
Right. Oh
and
yeah.
being able to do that and walk through that, it's like walking through a freaking hangar. You can play
Be great to
basketball. You
see.
can play basketball inside one of those things.
Oh
It's
yeah.
gigantic, you know. And
Yeah,
then
they're pretty awesome.
you're thinking, and this thing flies.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what blows my mind is something that big can fly, but that's just like with a cruise ship, something that big can float.
yes, yes. And it's like the C-17 is the new little brother, I guess, of the C-5. It's only
Mhm.
about 2/3 the size. It can only lift like 100,000 pounds at one load.
Oh, gotcha.
That's like 3 semi-trailer loads full. So
That's a
yeah,
lot.
just a little thing. The C-5's little brother.
So the frogs are still in the show. Sorry.
Yes, they are. They're making the show. Okay.
Oh yeah. Andy talking about Race Hobbs. I tell you what,
I saw a picture of him, unless it was an old picture from Sunday.
he looked great. He
Yes.
looked great. And I saw the post today. He was talking about one hospital
Uh-huh.
made him wait 5 days until his wife went down there, I guess, and had a cow.
Oh
And
my.
then they went to a different hospital and was taken care of, I guess. I don't know how that
Okay.
went, but um, that's pretty sad. Plus, he's allergic to nylon tape. You can only use paper
Oh my
tape. And he
God.
posted a picture of a blister that was on
Oh
his
my God. Yes.
wrist.
Yes.
And it just
No,
seemed like
for
nobody
me
cared.
and the others who I guess it's pretty well known right now. He had at least we have no details on it. He appears to have had a mild heart attack, and I spoke to him a couple of days later, and he was he was on his way to get a heart cath, and then he was at church on Sunday. So
Right.
apparently he's doing okay, but we don't know any more details. I'm just
Poor Ron. Look at this. Where is everyone? Why am I the only one here? I don't know where you are, but we got
I'm
Justin and
assuming
we got
I would assume
Ging.
he's over at
The
well
wrong
no,
one.
he's not at Mixler
He must be on
because
his channel.
or on yeah. Well, all
Ging
the
said, yeah. Ging said that he popped up, that race popped up in on there on the EVPI and mentioned it at the end of their show. So good.
I'm going to have to check out for just a minute and go
Okay.
take care of something. I'll be right back.
Make sure everything's okay. Oh my God, he's leaving this to me. What is he thinking? I don't have a clue. So, but yes, so I changed my name. I'm not Imp anymore. I'm Chaos. I am addicted to the show Witcher that's on Netflix. I don't know if anybody has seen that or not, but they're always talking about how wonderful the gift of chaos can be if you can control it. So we're going to see it now. So here we are. Ron found us. Yay. Andy's not real pleased with it, but anyway, at least he can join in on the chat.
I had to check on my patient.
That's fine. It's all good.
Yeah, all good.
Good. Now I was telling him the reason my name is Chaos today, and that's
Yes, I let's see. You've been oh gosh, Bubbles.
Bubbles.
plumber,
Mhm.
chaos.
I was
Right?
imp last week.
Imp or imp?
I was an imp.
Okay.
IMP.
IMP.
Like a little evil devil thing.
Okay.
Today I'm chaos because I like the show Witcher. I love it. And they're always talking about the gift of chaos and they're always
Mm,
talking about destiny and things like that. So
okay. Um, yeah, I like chaos. You can't, if you don't have a certain amount of chaos, you can't have creativity.
this is true. This is true. And
And
that's
Lord
just
knows
like
we need plenty of creativity to find a path out of this mess we're in, you know?
well, and that's just like um, being able to adapt to different types of situations. I mean, change is going to happen. It doesn't matter how or when or what it's going to be, and it might be a change that you like, and it might be a change that you don't like, but you've got to adapt to it.
Yep.
And so, I guess change is a form of chaos. It just depends on how it comes to you, I guess.
You know, there's so many people I see now that are so fearful of change in anything, you know?
Hmm.
Oh my God, there are too many sexes. What's it matter to you? Nobody wants to have fun with you anyway. No matter
Yeah, there you go.
what.
All the Karens of the world.
You know, oh yeah. No, believe me, it doesn't matter. In your life, it doesn't matter. You know, if
Right.
there are 2 or 5 or 10 or
Hmm.
50,
Right.
for you, I don't think it's going to matter.
No, you're right.
That's
It's not going to matter.
I just look at it that way, you know.
Mhm.
So for 99.9% of the population of the earth, no, it's got probably more than that. Okay, for almost everybody, to me, what they're doing does not matter whatsoever.
Mm.
Um,
I don't care. Just don't mess with the kids.
well,
Leave
yes,
kids alone.
I
And they're not leaving the kids alone. That's the problem.
yes,
Wait until you're an adult to figure out if you're a girl or a boy, or if you just want to chop everything
no,
off
I
and
think
be a
that
little
I
doorstop.
no. I think that should be a decision between the parents and the doctor. Okay, and I know
At
that's
what age?
at birth. Seriously, there are mix-ups, genetic mix-ups, and actual what conditions. Okay,
Yeah.
that can and should be corrected at birth.
Well, if you're born with both, I get it at
Okay,
birth.
okay,
But if you come out
a
with a
functional,
penis,
a functional and genetic male or female. Okay, to all intents and purposes, functional.
yeah,
Then no, I agree with you 100%. But I
right.
don't
And
want to
that's
outlaw. I don't want to outlaw that medical procedure for the 1 in 10,000.
and
Okay.
they wouldn't if it wasn't
Oh, that
being
is
made.
true.
If it was not
They,
being
they
made,
indicted a woman in Texas for having a miscarriage and charged her with murder.
okay, that's totally different than what we were just talking about. We
But
were
it's
just
the
talking
same,
about parents
yeah,
making a
but
decision.
it's the same people
Okay,
that are,
that's
that
what
are
I'm.
writing these laws.
So
Okay,
how? What was the circumstances of?
I don't know.
Okay, so
I know she was indicted.
okay, but we don't know the circumstances.
No,
Okay, so
my imagination
yeah,
fails to find circumstances where that would be appropriate.
But see, that's the thing. We don't know.
No, I don't know.
And
I
if
don't.
your imagination can't get there and it's a totally different situation, we can't, you
Yes, but
can't
I don't
jump
want
on
to.
a
I don't want to.
bandwagon.
But I don't want to outlaw having a doc. It just.
But did she have a medical procedure that caused her to have a miscarriage?
I don't know.
Okay, see, we don't know. So you can't make laws on something that we don't know about. You know, if I have a child and it comes
Okay.
out and it's a boy,
Yes. Okay.
I should not
Have the authority.
to tell him to cut it off and then give him
No.
a vagina.
No. You should not.
Okay, so
But that's the doctor's place. You know what
to
I'm saying?
say no,
The doctor and this and assuming that the child is old enough to have some. Okay, say the child's 14. Okay, and for some reason has decided they want to do this. Then I think it's a decision that should be made by
let's get
the
them
parents,
past
the parents,
teenager.
the doctors,
Hmm.
and psychiatrists. I think that and these things are pretty much how it's been working for the last 20 years.
But now it's made political. So
Yeah.
guess what? Everybody's got their damn opinion and throwing their hat in the ring.
Well, yeah, I've learned more about this, the processes and the rest of it since in the last year and a half.
Yeah, because they're shoving it down your throat. And they're
But
giving, that's the thing. Okay. So there are, if you want to turn into a girl, go for it. I don't care.
yes,
It's, I don't care.
if as an adult,
Exactly.
a sovereign adult.
Exactly. Let's
Yes.
get these kids past their teenage years. And you know what? If they'll go into the military and then that's where they decide they want a sex change operation, our government can pay for it. The military will pay for it. They'll pay for everything. Swear to God. But I tell you what, if you get into the military and that's what you want to do, they'll keep you in.
Yes, yes.
They have to.
Yep.
So let's get our kids past these god awful hormone teenage years where everybody's losing, they lose their shit over anything.
Yep.
And
No,
then let them decide.
yes.
They got till they're 26. They're on mommy and daddy's health insurance until they're 26. So surely to God, between 18 and 26, they can figure out what they are, what they want to be. And it's like, and I don't care. So I don't know why this is being shoved down our throats so bad. It's just something else.
It's being shoved down people's throats merely to make political hay from the matter. Okay.
To divert everybody's attention
on their parties' platforms or lack of platforms.
Yeah.
If you don't have, I'm for guns, for God, and against any homosexuals, and the fucking the money just rains in. You know, look at God. I hate to say this. Look at Trump. Trump was pro-abortion, anti-gun, and if he's ever been in a church, it was because of something other than he wasn't.
There's a wedding he was going to or a funeral.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And how much of his base that has showered him over the last year with nearly $200 million think that's what he stands for.
Well, and see, but okay, so he was a Democrat for years and then changed over to the Republican thing.
Absolutely.
And that's when the world crashed down on his ass. If he stayed a Democrat, had his TV shows, had his different marriages, he did all of this stuff, And
As a
and what
Democrat.
gets me is that do what?
As a Democrat.
Yeah,
And nobody cared because
nobody blinked a damn eye.
he was just another TV show,
That's right.
you know?
That I didn't watch because I can't
Oh
stand to
no.
listen to the man talk. Oh my
I,
God, I can't listen to that man talk. Never have been able to.
yes. How to be a billionaire asshole, basically.
He's got it
You're
down
fired.
pat.
You know, I just beat you to death, ran you over 4 times, and browbeat you and
Yep.
tripped you, and so it's your fault. You're fired. You know why would any
I didn't
competent
watch the show. I
why
don't
would
know.
okay on that show, which is his opening to fame and fortune? Why would any competent individual go on a show like that?
Because they got to be on TV. And
Yeah.
they got a whole hell of a lot more attention after the show, even though he treated them like shit,
Speaking of
than they would have in real life.
which was the one that he had all the trouble with, that worked on staff for a while when he first started?
I have no idea. I never watched it. Could have cared less
No,
about it.
as president, it came over
Oh,
as
I don't know.
president, and
Could have
then
cared less about
that,
it.
that too, okay, and that too, and left. Okay, so
Well, but he ran through staff like dirty socks.
Yes, very much so. And
But you know what?
Easy to see.
You know what? If somebody's not doing the job that I want them to do, you're out the door.
Okay.
And he's done that all his life. He's had all the TV show. You don't do what I want you to do, you're gone. By God, everybody just wishes that they had just that much of that power.
Well,
Even any president ever, if you could have just that much power of the president.
Speaking for Spider-Man, with great power comes great responsibility.
That's all right.
You know,
and you couldn't give it to me.
As long as that's true, you know, as that's part of the situation, I'm okay with that.
But you can't please everybody.
No one ever has. No one ever has pleased everyone.
Can't do it. I can't do it now. And you know what?
I have to focus on intent. You know, I may screw something up, but my intent was generally good. Now, if my intent is to be mean and destructive, I've proven in the past that I can do that quite competently. I'd rather not, because it never pays, and I always feel bad afterwards. You know, that comes from having a conscience.
You know, I can't think of anything mean that I've really just come out and straight done to somebody.
Well, I'm thinking really more about things that I thought about doing that I didn't do.
Oh, no, that's okay, because that's in your head and it never came out. So
yes,
you're okay with that. Yeah, you're good with that. Yeah,
one of them had to do with a car dealer and a shotgun.
Well, I can see that happening. Yeah. I can see that going on.
If I could just drive by in the middle of the night and put a shotgun blast through those 4 big plate glass windows. I wonder if that would cost him more than he cost me.
You know, back in the old days, though, if somebody knew that they did something wrong to you, they would have accepted what you did and gone on. And now they would have just cried and whined and pressed charges. And it's a whole different world now.
Yeah.
I mean, if they knew.
Seriously, back in the olden days, you weren't worried about being picked up by the sheriff. You were worried about your neighbors kicking your ass.
Exactly.
You know? Because
that's exactly right.
You did something that you weren't supposed to be doing. You know?
Everybody not everybody, but a lot of people they kept each other in check.
Yes.
Not anymore.
And Really? We don't have any. There's no floor. There's no floor left.
I don't think so. I mean, I don't think there's anybody with the checks and balances that like they used to be. I mean, I don't think so.
There were always outlaws. There were always barbarians.
Mhm.
The barbarians outside the mortars.
Right.
And now I'm not so sure that they aren't inside.
Mhm. Did you
Inside.
notice the frogs stopped for just a little bit? Now they've started back up.
Oh
It's
no!
very
Oh
quiet.
no! Just shut. Must have been a Bigfoot walking by. Oh,
Something. Either that or the cat walked through. So out there, and they decided, yep, that's what it was because the cat just come up the steps.
Ah, yes, indeed.
Anyway, my frogs. Pretty soon it'll be crickets.
Temperance.
Oh, his Ron's tarot card of the day.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I
This
don't have
is temperance. To be Lord, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
Ooh, you didn't know that one last night.
Last week I didn't know. I couldn't say it. It
Right.
was in there. It was in there, but the little squirrel cage inside here, it just wouldn't pop up. It was in there with all the other stuff jumbling around. And today, okay, a week later, it popped up in its correct place in an appropriate setting.
There you go. Africa, they call it the jungle justice.
Yep.
That's about the truth. That is about the truth. Yep, it is.
That was hillbilly justice too. I hate to tell you,
We had a lot of that.
I was too young then to really know what was going on, but I heard the stories. And
oh yeah, the stories are always a lot better most of the time than what actually happened. But
you did see the guy walking with a limp.
Yeah, he still has the limp. Yeah, you're right. And he's got some of the buckshot that's still right here in the side of his face that they couldn't dig out. So yeah.
Yep.
And actually I've seen that, but it wasn't buckshot. It was
salt.
Where it was coal that was stuck in somebody's face that they never dug out.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Like
that's what happens.
It would be like a tattoo.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. That mine something exploded down there and you didn't get away from it fast enough and it was in you. And it was going to take a long time to dig all that out.
Yep. Wow.
So, but
huge.
Yeah.
road rash on steroids.
Yes, and gravel.
Oh my God. Yep.
I've seen a few cases of that, and I was so glad it was not me. So glad it wasn't me. But let's see, gains. The things that go on in the U.S., there are even darker things going on in countries. You're right. We don't know everything that goes on here.
Yes.
We don't have a clue. Well, and I'm glad sometimes.
Oh my yes. A lot of the stories that are coming out of Ukraine are just horrifying.
Mm-hmm. War's not pretty.
Never has been, never will be.
But they romanced it.
Romanticized, yes, for glory and country and all that.
World War II is full of it.
I think that's pretty much. I think that's over. I think the days of Vietnam and the TV cameras.
Vietnam killed that one.
Pretty much took the glory out of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it sure did.
and that's fine.
Mhm.
Now it's the next thing we have to worry about is the sanitized version of that, which we are this far from getting. Okay,
Mhm.
where you don't have any boots on the ground, but you've got killer planes in the air and killer tanks on the ground
Yep.
and little semi-sentient airdropped
Mhm.
explosive, mobile explosive devices, like those
Right.
dogs with an anti-tank rocket on his back. Or what, and the imagination falls at that.
Mhm.
And those will be sanitized. But the point is, in the battlefield, there's still going to be civilians. There's still going to
Yes.
be casualties. There's still going to be destruction of lives and property and
Mhm.
lives. So
All right.
that that concerns me a bit, you know, until we figure out some way to actually get rid of it entirely, which may take forever, you know. But
Let, let
I
me
got
ask you about one other thing.
hmm,
Title 42.
okay. Give me a quickie on Title 42.
That's the one that was put in about, I think, when COVID, it was the immigration thing. It's like that they could send you back across the border or put you back on the airplane due to contagious diseases.
Yeah. Okay.
They implemented Title 42, so that's the way they got took care of it. Well, now
Well, that was
they're
when they had the big influx from Haiti that were trying to come into the United States. I think.
I don't remember when they implemented it,
Well, I mean,
but
it had been implemented before, but they made a big fuss over it then.
yes, yes. So, but and then of course that's the reason. One of the reasons too that they're like the masks uh,
Mhm.
on airplanes and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And now they're thinking about dropping it.
I bet
They're
they
thinking
changed
about
their mind. I
well
bet
after the outbreak in Washington
after the
D.C. I'm
outbreak
telling
and
you.
after out at the oh what was it, the Gridiron Club,
Mhm.
the Gridiron Club,
But why just
the
one club?
elites and the hoity-toities.
It's because it happened to the elites.
And I, I
And the rest of the country, yes, there's states that's having outbreaks and stuff, but I mean, this is kind of like it's running its course again.
the outbreaks, as far as I can tell right now, of this latest
Hmm.
strain
Hmm.
are minor
Hmm.
as compared to before.
Right.
But
Depends on your health condition as well.
absolutely, just like the regular flu,
Hmm.
which is which is excuse me,
Bless you.
which is hospitalizing quite a few people in just the old fashioned bird flu. Okay,
Right.
is hospitalizing people. So we don't know. I mean, we're not. I don't think we're out of this yet, and I don't want to see things. As much as I want to see things go back to absolutely normal,
Hmm.
I'm not sure we're ready to do that yet. You know, and
Well,
it breaks my heart to even say that. You know,
summertime, and we did this last summer.
the point is,
No
it's going to
masks.
happen. It's going to happen.
Hmm.
Yes,
We didn't have any
it's
masks. We didn't do any of that. We didn't. I mean, the warm weather, the cases came down. We didn't have another. And of course, it seems like the new variants that are coming through, they are way more contagious than what,
they're way
or
more
we think
contagious,
they
but they're not.
are,
They appear to be
but
not
they're
as
not.
serious too.
Right. But I
Yeah,
don't think they are as contagious. I just think it's like with the whole
that
time that
everything has
this has
been
been going on.
relaxed so much that the measures aren't in place anymore.
Well, no, I think the whole time it's like when it first started, there were people that were getting it in a household, there'd be a person or
Mhm.
two that would get it, but the rest of the household would not.
Yes. Yes.
So I just kind of think with each variant, I mean, it's
Well,
going
the
to be
other
that
thing,
case.
okay, of the people that had it in this gridiron outbreak,
Hmm.
some of the people they tested positive, but they had no symptoms.
Right.
Okay,
Hmm.
which that is not uncommon right now. And
Right.
and with in the general population, who take okay, if you're not working security or something with and walking in and out of the White House,
Hmm.
who the hell gets and your situation too. You're get tested once a week, right?
Yes.
Okay, but in and say in the general wider population, unless you're showing symptoms, you're not going to get a test.
Hmm. Well, and two, there when I had it, they
Hmm.
asked me if I wanted a COVID test, and I said I don't have the symptoms, and they were like, "Okay."
Okay.
So they didn't even know what the symptoms were. I had a sinus infection.
Okay.
It's something I've had. I get I've had all my life. I mean,
Yes.
not all the time, but I do
A
get them.
seasonal, basically more of a seasonal thing. Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
So they were like, "Oh, okay," and there it went. So
We were going to stay away from you anyway.
yeah, everybody
So you
needs to
had
stay
so
away
you had
from
an easy
me.
week. Right. Okay.
I need to have my shirt on that says "Thank you for leaving me alone."
Yes.
But it's just another one of those things where just it's going to be the cold, it's going to be the flu.
Hmm.
It's going to be here, and
Yeah.
they need to they need to stop. They need to stop with these mandates. They need to stop or wanting to do mandates. We really don't have any,
Yeah.
but they need to just stop and leave it to somebody. If you want to wear a mask, wear a mask. If you
Yeah.
want to protect, that's just like I can remember.
In a
I
in
mean,
a
there's people that mow their yards and have a mask on because they're have horrible allergies.
yes. Exactly.
Nobody had to tell them to do it. They did it to protect themselves. If that's what you want to do, please do that. Don't don't act like if you sit down to eat dinner, you can take a mask off and be around 50 people and everything's going to be okay. But the minute you stand up, you got to put a mask on because COVID's going to get you there.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes.
It's just not
So
logical.
COVID is here just as much as it is here.
That's right. Yeah. Yes.
Okay. It's all right.
But that's just, I don't know. Now it's getting ridiculous. It's to the point. It's everybody. Yes, you all are protecting us, and here we are, 2 weeks to flatten the curve, and this is 2 years later.
Well, actually, it has. I think. Does it have to do with trust? Trust of one another. Okay. In my perfect trusting world, if somebody had symptoms, okay, they wear the mask for a couple of days. Okay.
Nobody
I
did
can,
that when they had
I
the
could go to the
flu.
I could go to the grocery. I could go or the flu. I could go to the grocery store and not have to worry about it.
Nobody
I
ever
would,
did that.
I would see a few people having the masks on and say, "Oh, good. There's a good thinking, responsible citizen." You know,
If you were smart, you just stay home. Don't go anywhere. That's the thing
I
with
sure
the
as hell do
flu.
do too much of that now.
If people would come in at the bank and I'd watch the people go up
Oh,
to the teller line, and they'd lean all up in the window, and they were like, "I just came from the doctor. I got the flu."
why? Thank you.
They knew,
How
and I
nice
mean
of you.
it.
How nice of you to share.
And I would have to turn around and go into my office and shut the door because I'm like, I wanted so
That's
bad
all.
to go, no, just to go up to him and say, then why did you come in? We have a drive through.
Yeah, yeah.
the person that drove you to the doctor could have gone to the drive-through. I just don't get the mentality of people. And it just, I mean, if you know you're sick, don't get in somebody else's face. Unless you hate them and you want them to get sick, there's there's something to do, but I don't know. Common sense is just a lot of people. It's just gone.
It's certainly not common anymore. And I guess that's part of my.
It's not.
I'm not so sure it was ever common.
No.
I do very, very vividly remember being told that I had no common sense. And they were probably right.
Probably. Well, I don't know. Sometimes you just get your mind set on something and you don't want to leave it alone.
And I have a reputation for doing things the hard way sometimes.
No, not you. No.
Yeah.
I don't believe that at all. Oh, but excuse me. Oh, what are we talking about in here? Bobby says going back to suspension and bans. How could Kristen only get 10 minutes taken away when KGR Day does something out of bounds and they're gone for a week? YouTube does what they want to do.
Yes.
There's no rhyme or reason.
Their field, their platform, their rules. And they make them up as they go along.
I was thinking to say that's the fun part. They don't have any rules posted. They just say don't offend the community standards.
I think it's their rules, which I have not read, by the way, because it's like 37 pages. Mm-hmm. Pretty much says they can do anything they want, and you can't do anything about it.
That's all right.
I mean, anytime I see terms and conditions that go more than half a page, I just assume that's what it says.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, but if he got, that's what's so wild. If KGRA got banned from YouTube and then Kriston does not get banned on his own, then I guess that's where we're going to have to go. There you go, Kings.
See that kind of. I don't know. Offer the ability to edit the tape if there was something that was that egregious, Well,
it's a news thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
These bastards have been lying to us for years, and they're all still on it. Why does it matter what he said?
What was that on? What show? It was in not so on Vogue. Oh, one of those big, usually a big fashion magazine. I can't remember. I can't think of the name.
Cosmopolitan.
No, it wasn't Cosmo, but they had a big write-up from a microbiologist who had done a study of the early history of COVID. And he had run this up to be published in June, early in June. He had a meeting with Dr. Fauci and someone else, a Zoom meeting. And they were not impressed with maybe it was Vogue. I'll try to look it up. Anyway, so my point there is, and I did not read the entire article. I only read parts of it. Mm-hmm. And I didn't hear anything that I didn't hear in March of last year.
Right.
Okay. There was the DNA sequences that were traced back to the lab that, by the way, are no longer available to the public. They were available, or even to this microbiologist. They've been erased. Their entire the Wuhan database is gone. It's no longer erased. Some people would have downloaded those, and they still exist. But in general, they are gone. So it's Look, the United States, the Soviet Union, China, and probably 37 other countries
Right.
have been playing with this shit for decades.
Yeah.
Okay? They trade this stuff around like baseball cards.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
they have no controls on them because
Right.
we're doing it for the good of the people. We're doing it so we can be ready for the next outbreak by creating
The next outbreak.
the next outbreak, okay?
Uh-huh.
By forcing it to happen in the lab, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So they can say, okay, this is what might happen. We'll try to get some kind of a treatment ready to take care of this, which is exactly what happened,
Mhm.
okay? Because every country in the world had been looking at COVID, at SARS, as a possibility, a very bad possibility for the coming pandemic. Okay, and that was where Moderna, Pfizer, whoever the other was. Okay, that's why they had this damn the cure on the shelf, and they
Mm-hmm.
just pulled it out and said, well, let's try this. This might work. This is what we had it designed for, something like that. So,
Mm-hmm.
we'll tweak it a little bit and run it out there.
Right.
Yeah, this was no miracle. This was no damn overnight miracle.
No.
This was on the shelf. Drag it out, give it to the public, tell them it's a cure, and apparently it works. Okay, I speak for myself, from my own experience. Apparently it works, and that's wonderful. But the point is, they didn't just conjure this up in the middle of the night the day after they heard about Wuhan. Okay?
No. No. It's like they work on the the thing that can damage you the most, and then they're like, yeah, well, maybe we need to come up with something that'll reverse that.
But what if it should get away from the lab? What if it should escape somehow?
We'll tell everybody that it was a
The line from Jurassic Park,
Mhm.
life will find a way.
Yes.
You know?
But see, if it escapes, then
I
we'll just
understand that this kind of research needs to be done.
Mhm.
It doesn't need to be done here. Get a goddamn lab, build a goddamn lab in Antarctica, in the middle
They
of the
probably
dome.
have one
In
there.
the middle of the dome. Okay?
Mhm.
Put it in orbit.
Mhm.
You know? Someday,
Mhm.
put it on the moon. That's a wonderful place for it.
Right.
Don't do it here
Mhm.
among the potential victims. That's sensible.
And then what they do is they do this total thing of disinformation afterwards. Oh, it didn't come out of a lab. Somebody ate a bat.
We don't have that DNA.
Yeah, we didn't do it.
Yeah, it's gone. Oh, we don't have it. We never had that. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah. They must have been imagining things.
But somebody ate a bat, an infected bat at a wet market, and that's what started all this. Really? And people were believing that and would argue with you till they just passed out.
Yeah. And there were,
because the news told them that's what happened.
the thing is, I will have to embroider this guy's name. I'll write it on my wall. Okay. That biologist that came out and did this article, this study, because he proves my contention that you can't hide the truth forever from everybody.
Right.
He knows he'll never get another promotion. He knows he'll never get another grant.
Mhm.
But he felt that this was what he should do.
Mhm.
Okay. And he made that decision. And that's kudos to him for that.
Andy said to shut up before Ert gets banned.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, but it's total from start to, and we're not over with it yet. Whatever they feed MSM, they just spew it and people just drink it in, and it's gospel, and then they just start backing down a little bit from it, and then people forget that 15 minutes ago they just told you that the world was ending, but then 15 minutes later it's like, oh no, it's beautiful outside and everything's good. So that's the kind of thing, and that's, God, that was a government operation that started before I was born, I think. Um, I mean, it's like we're going to tell you what you can report to people, and they're doing it. I mean, it just totally Vanity Fair. There you go. How many channels you got, Ron?
Oh, yeah. Actually, that Ron is me.
Okay, gotcha. You've typed it in.
Yes, that's me.
Vanity Fair. Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
You couldn't stand it, could you?
Okay, people, time to change the topic for me at the end.
Hell, we've gone on an hour about this.
No, it's not. There's no there's no controversy here.
Right.
We are, because we don't have an agenda. Nobody's paying us to talk. I mean, it just rips me apart when people, particularly on television, okay, go on and tell some story that either you can tell when they read it that they don't have the slightest clue what they're saying. They're just reading words. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That was something that bothered me back in the 90s when all the newspapers, magazines, and TV shows, TV newsrooms, they got rid of their science reporters.
Yes.
And they get some cheerleader to walk up and she's talking about men in space, or the space shuttle launch or landing or something, as though she knew what the hell she was talking about, when she obviously didn't.
But
or
then,
he, or he. It's not a sexist.
Right. No, I know.
There are plenty of ignorant that couldn't science their way out of a bathtub.
But then they're allowed to give their opinion on this stuff.
Yes.
And then people take it as gospel, and they know they don't know what the hell they're talking about.
Yeah.
But they get paid damn good money.
Usually, often it's a comfortable thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yes, we're saying this, and it's comfortable because it fits what our profile says our watchers want to hear,
Right.
And that's okay. I don't.
And then their ratings go to shit, and then they can't figure out why, and then now they're scrambling, and now, I mean, even CNN. Okay, so I heard this on the radio today on the way in. CNN, I think, I don't know if it was an article, if it was on the news, but it was talking about the inflation.
Okay.
And that they were given the stats for it and stuff like that, and talking about it's not been this bad since 1981.
Okay.
Kind of shocked me to hear that they said something negative. But they probably say negative stuff all the time. And I don't listen to the crap.
Yes.
I don't listen to it. I don't.
The mainstream media, all the mainstream media has been just.
Well, I mean, they've been
terribly derogatory to anything that's coming out of the White House right now. I don't understand why.
Well, I understood why they did it when Trump was in. I mean, I get that,
yes,
because
that
they absolutely
apparently was partisan.
hated that.
At least in some portion of that, it was partisan.
Because it was all of them. It was all of them.
Well, except Fox.
Did that. See, I didn't listen to him. I didn't care.
Okay.
I don't care what they say because it's
Yes.
all bullshit.
Right.
It's the same damn channel. It's the same script. It's the same
That-
news stories.
that's
And
why
somebody just puts a
that's
different
why I've
opinion
given
to
this
it.
stuff up.
But
Yeah.
but that's what I don't know. I don't get it because now all of a sudden, and I think the reason why is because people have figured out what the hell they did, what the media did. I think they've also figured out the media's full of shit. God, probably. Ha ha ha. Wah, wah. Good one, Oofy. Good one. She's so good. She's full of shit, too. That's why we love her. But, and I think people have kind of figured it out. I mean, they've not been telling you the truth. They've not been telling you, and especially now that this Hunter Biden thing has really come out
Mm-hmm.
because that was buried. They were made
That was
fun
buried.
of and banned.
When did the first incarnation of the Hunter Biden laptop story come out? Was that in
That was
2018?
that was during the election.
Yes.
That was in 19.
Early in the election. It
Very
wasn't
early.
October,
And it was
it wasn't
buried.
an October surprise thing. It was
It was
early in the
buried.
election. And it was given to the FBI.
Well, and the
it
thing is,
really the story sounded fishy to begin with.
well, the Post
And it
ran
wasn't-
an
it
article
wasn't-
about
it
it.
wasn't absolutely denied. It just never went anywhere.
Oh, no. No, honey. People were okay. So when the story first came out from the Post, well,
Okay.
you got the New York Times and you got the Post, right?
Yeah.
The Post put that story out.
Okay.
Twitter banned them.
Okay.
Twitter started banning anybody, big name people, whatever, that was talking about this story, banning them. Facebook was doing it. The
Well, now you've got
media
representatives
would
in
not talk
Congress
about it.
waving their arms, saying, "I've got the hard drive here. A copy of the hard drive right here."
They were banning the whole story because I remember hearing about all of this stuff that they're talking about now. I remember hearing about then. It was squashed. It was not allowed to be in the news. Okay, I'm sorry.
The only thing they never, I don't think they ever really said what they found on the laptop.
Oh yeah, no. They had it all out there.
Okay,
And
I didn't.
it was being squashed by
Okay.
everything.
Okay.
MSN wouldn't talk about it. They wouldn't do it because they wanted Trump out and they wanted Biden in. Now there's more stuff that's coming out about this thing because there's a lot of saying, well, I didn't know anything about this. But
Okay.
and the DOJ is they're putting the stories together.
Without going. Okay. Hunter never worked for the United States government. He was a crackhead.
Mm-hmm.
He did use his father's name and influence, one would assume, to
he was on the board of
get some jobs. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But that wasn't necessarily anything that would fall back against Biden. He did not profit from it himself. I don't think there's been any evidence that he did.
There is.
I'm not defending him.
No. I understand what you're saying.
That would be like if my son went out and got picked up for selling marijuana. Okay. Would that blow back on me? No.
Yeah. Really. In your community.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's reverse it.
Okay.
What if that had been Junior?
Junior's
They'd
already
lost.
Junior's already ready to be indicted, along with Coach Kushner and Ivanka for her Chinese patents.
What I'm saying, I understand all that. But what I'm talking about, had that come out, that would have been Junior at that time, you would have had to go into the woods somewhere and cover your ears so you wouldn't hear everybody talking about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But this was squashed. It was not brought out. Twitter banned everything. Facebook banned everything. It was not allowed. That is manipulation.
Mm-hmm. Well, here's my question on the hard drive, on the hard drives. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
if these are so inflammatory, if these are smoking gun to his mafia business, okay, send out 500 copies of them to every news bureau, to every computer security specialist. Boom, 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 boom.
They're not going to.
Okay, out there. Well, that's who's controlling that?
The government. The government. They did the same
The
thing
government,
with
the
Trump.
government,
That's what I'm saying,
the
honey.
government doesn't have those theoretically.
DOJ's got a lot of stuff.
The FBI looked at them and released them. They said this bullshit.
Yeah, well, guess what? They're not singing that tune.
You have representatives in the Senate waving their copies. Release it to the public.
Oh, sure. Just like they're going to do 9/11. They're going to give us everything about everything we already know about UFOs, but they're not going to give us that. Yeah, that's going to happen. The thing about it is, though, is that there is where one was saying, oh, daddy had nothing to do with it, or daddy was saying, well, I didn't have anything to do with it. Now they're putting it together. Daddy wrote a letter for one of this one's friends to get into college when daddy was saying, oh, I had nothing to do with that. So little bits of stuff's coming out, and now they can't ignore it. So now you're going to hear a little bit more about it, because the New York Times a year later had to come out and run the story, basically the same thing that the Post had said.
What's a letter of recommendation to a college worth these days?
Oh, don't you know everybody was cheating to get into college, and that's what's her face from got in trouble for that?
I went to a couple of people and a couple of 4 people. No, in fact, yeah, probably
depends on how much money you've got.
All together in my lifetime. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I've gathered up half a dozen letters of recommendation for different things, and didn't cost me anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
of course, and I didn't get a chance to edit them, so I have no idea what the hell they said.
Mm-hmm.
So
right, you didn't get to put your spin on it.
No.
But I'm just saying, the media is never going to be held responsible for how they control people. I mean, you look at the George Floyd thing. You look at all of these huge stories that they do, and the chaos that they cause, the cities that they cause to be burned down, the people that get murdered, that get beat up and stuff like that during all this, they're never going to be held responsible for it. And that's bullshit.
That's all part of the theater.
That's bullshit.
That's the part that really disturbs me.
Inciting a riot.
I mean, it's okay. I'm not saying that people didn't get hurt, the buildings didn't burn, but that's theater.
And that's what they do.
Okay? Because it's not a natural, organic, revolutionary act or whatever, act of protest. Okay? These things are planned and orchestrated and allowed, and on both sides. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And the right is using, I mean, I swear to God, I swear to God that Ocasio-Cortez must be a secret Republican. Her original $5 million production to introduce her to the public. Okay? Where the hell does a bartender in Brooklyn get $5 million to have a Hollywood company come in and do their PR?
Well, either you're shimmying.
There are people. There are things behind the scenes that, and she goes out there and she makes the left look bad.
Honey, she makes herself look bad
by going so far out of. She doesn't care.
She's getting paid money, and people elect her.
The money keeps pouring in, and the further out there she gets, the better the money is for her. But that's she's not getting supported by the general public.
No.
Okay?
No. And so tell me how that election works.
You mean that district? Well, the amount of money that she poured in there with her campaign, I actually looked it up one time.
It can't be that stupid for that long.
$10,000 a person.
Can't be that stupid for that long. I mean, come on. I don't know. Wait a minute. I got to back up on that one. Kentucky still has Mitch. I got to shut the fuck up on this one.
Yes, he has made he could be a point of that. I don't.
We gotta ditch Mitch.
And look at there was the truck driver on the American truck rodeo thing that they were driving around Washington D.C. It came out and said that if she wasn't going to take the shot because it would turn her into a sex robot or some such. How the hell did she make that up?
I don't know. It's not worked for me yet.
Me either. But I mean, I'm saying
must be a certain age that it hits. I don't know. We're too damn old.
And I just said I don't understand. But as long as it's so far out there, it's so hyperbolic, okay? Then it defames somebody that says, "Well, yeah, I'm a Republican, and I think that we should pay some taxes." Okay, we'll negotiate how much, but we should pay some taxes, not no taxes. Okay,
I don't need to pay any taxes.
That Republican couldn't get his.
No.
Couldn't get on the front page of a newspaper.
You're right.
He shot somebody. Okay, but this far winger, with a Nazi flag, is on the front fucking page. And that's not right. That's not where we really are, and that's why I just don't listen to it. I try to stay away from it as much as I can, but I laugh at both sides because I see through the deception.
Okay, so Andy's put this up here, and this drives me insane because this bitch is going down. She's under investigation. She bought that house.
Go ahead.
She bought that house with BLM money in her name, and then she changed it into an LLC. The BLM chapters in different cities have actually filed suit against her because she's not giving them any money. She's not doing anything for them. So you know where that money came from, don't you? The government. There was not all of it, but they've been funded by the government. Not actually like federal. I'm just saying there's a lot of government funding that went into BLM. She's bought a $6 million mansion.
Non-government organizations, NGOs.
Yeah, the ones that are run by the government that say that they're not.
Yeah, right. That's just another an acronym for CIA.
We're going to be banned from YouTube for years after this show.
I could care less. or we're going to be famous. Anyway,
No,
yeah,
I doubt that one. But anyway,
God help me. Yes, Andy, I believe that there's a good chance that there was money laundering going in
there was a lot of money
there.
laundered.
Good grief, it's not like she was not the first person to discover that there are loopholes to allow money laundering through real estate sales.
But apparently, she was not smart enough to understand that you don't do it with an organization's money that big and then not fund your chapters. Hers not real smart.
Well, he just got greedy.
Greed will get you every time.
It'll get you every time. Yep. I don't. So we're talking out on the fringes. These are the people that get the headlines. The people on the fringes. The night, and it's on a freaking bell curve. Okay, we're in the middle. We're a little bit this way and a little bit that way. We're in the middle. 90% of us are in the middle. And we can negotiate, and we can work with each other, and we can just get through the day. Okay. Except for these outliers that are the only ones that get a voice.
Right.
We don't get a voice.
No.
The center doesn't get a voice. Okay.
We just the commoners.
Yes. We are not the elites. Okay. But lately, the elites, the qualifications to be an elite spokesman for one side or the other side aren't something that I find admirable.
You can't have morals and
yes,
be in politics.
No. Nope. Well, oh gosh.
Here we go.
Hard. It's
Next
hard.
subject.
I'm sure it's hard.
Next subject.
Next subject. Radio. Yes.
Lord, we've been bitching for an hour and a half. There won't be a show tonight between.
And the peepers are still going.
Yeah. There will not be Tuesday night bites. Poor Russ. That new daddy thing's really got him. And there won't be a playlist for tonight, so apologize. So we're just going to bitch for an hour and a half. Me and Charles.
It's been an hour and a half. It's been an hour and 23 minutes.
So. Bitch fest. Oh, look. Oofy finally come up with a word, and we're almost done. So,
bitch fest. If I could go back, tonight.
You know what?
But there's so many.
That's going to be my name next week.
That's just.
Who was the last mellow president? Carter, probably. No, correct, Bobby. There will be no show or playlist this evening.
Actually, Gerald Ford was rather mellow.
He was pretty mellow. You're right.
Yeah. Actually, I mean, in his short time as president of the United States, he was a businessman. He was a business guy. He just get us through this thing, And although I can't say that I agreed with everything he did, at least he was working from quote unquote the middle. Okay. So, and look, I was in the day, back in those days, I felt that they were really what Trump got from the press and what Biden is getting from the press, Carter got from the press, in my opinion, even more, because he got it from the left, right, and middle.
Gee,
Okay.
I was too little to remember that, but I do remember Billy Beer.
Yes, Billy Beer. Everybody remembers Billy Beer.
Mhm.
Um,
Um, Ging said, as far as having a calm presidency, was it Carter or Reagan? That would have been
oh,
Reagan
Reagan.
had
Reagan was
war,
not
didn't he?
calm at all.
No. He was not. He
He was
bombed. He went there and wiped out some folks.
no. I mean, like one of the first things he did was fire all the aircraft controllers.
That's
You
right.
know?
They had that strike
Yeah.
going on. I forgot about that.
And then he had the Cadillac welfare millionaires in
Mm-hmm.
Chicago that he made famous,
Mm-hmm.
and that was his. I don't know. That I guess that was his signature move, really. You know,
Mm-hmm.
to show but if in my interpretation, my leftist interpretation of um, American history,
Mm-hmm.
the changes came in quite a ways before um, Reagan,
Mm-hmm.
and it was the oh gosh, whose manifesto was it? It was a Supreme Court justice, but this was before he became a Supreme Court justice, and I'll have to look it up in my freaking bookmarks. Oh my God. Um, I keep thinking Warren. No, it wasn't him. It was, you go that far? Powell. The Powell memo.
Yes.
I
Yes.
think
Yes.
like
Yes.
1969, 1970, which was a list of the ways that business had to take over the conversation in America, had to take over the media, had to make sure that, we kept these. It's like it is a manifesto, and that was the beginning of it, and it gathered steam under a great deal when that put Reagan into office. Then the new South, okay, the white Christian South had been Democrats since the Civil War, and he brought the solid South into the Republican tent. So
Correct.
that and those people scare that out of me, because that's the those people are controlled by the billionaires, and not even the billionaires, the trillionaires. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where their money comes from, through the big foundations and the rest of it, and they tell their underlings, well, this is what I want to hear on the news.
Mm-hmm.
If there's an original source for the memo that every news department gets in the morning, this is what we're going to talk about today, and we've all seen the it's like parrots miming,
Mm-hmm.
all reading the same script all over the country.
Correct.
That's where that comes from.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't come, it isn't organically what was being considered important in the news to that community at that time. This came down as a memo for every goddamn country, for every goddamn TV station in the United States. And whether it's left or right, they're both talking about the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
When the
Correct.
things that really matter are quite often something absolutely entirely.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, those people scare me because they are totalitarians.
Yeah.
They
You're
don't.
right.
They want it all.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if there's a hidden if there's a hidden hand, if there's an Illuminati or something like an Illuminati, okay,
It's still there, I'm
that's
sure.
them. That's them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, the thing is, once these foundations and levers of democracy are created,
Mm-hmm.
they're the ones that are going to use them.
Right.
Okay, they may not
Right.
have been the boots on the ground that started them.
Mm-hmm.
They may not have been the ones that wrote the original programs, but they are going to be the ones that take over once it's in place.
Right.
Because all it's going to cost is, 5% of their annual income to run everything.
Right.
They're going to make that back in spades. So, you know,
Thank God I'm going to be dead by the time that happens.
we'll be hanging in. I've been waiting for this to look. I've been waiting for this to happen since the 70s. I really and dreading it.
Yes.
And dreading it since the 70s.
It's like all the shit we talk about, and it's like it's gonna happen. It's gonna be real. It's gonna be proven true.
Yes.
And 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 it's the worst shit you ever want to see happen. And then we're all gonna sit there and go, "Told you so." Told you. Now put me in my FEMA camp.
I told you this was going to happen.
Exactly. That conspiracy was proven correct.
Yes.
And I'll be standing outside I'll be standing outside the FEMA camp going, "I told you. This is what's gonna happen."
I told you when you're talking about that stuff.
Told you. when you go to these what is it, these National Guard bases, and then all of a sudden the fence that's up there and the razor wire is pointed in, and the morgues have been, told you.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen. And I
the,
actually do know one
big,
in
Green. The big smokestacks, the 200-foot tall smokestacks. Yeah.
It wasn't because they were worried about winter. But I do know of one place in Greenville, Kentucky that happened, that that National Guard station was converted, and the morgue was huge, and this was several, well, I don't want to say several. I'd say this was about 5 years before the pandemic hit.
Mm-hmm.
And they had the massive coffins stacked up in it, and the razor wire was changed and put inward. They were preparing for something.
Well, I've got the book here somewhere of a guy. He was a mathematician, statistician, that sort of thing, who did a study, and it was pretty well distributed. Probably back, I'm going to say it was in the 80s, early 80s, maybe. That prognosticated that there was most likely going to be a revolutionary uprising in the United States, and made a good case for it.
I took a snapshot of something that I want to send to you, and I took this several years ago.
Okay.
And I thought it was interesting that it was brought back up again late last year, I think, on the internet. I found it on going through our government's national contractors.
Okay.
Our Department of Defense national contractors contracts.
Okay.
That's out there for the public. You can click on every one of them. You can see what the details of it or stuff. And then I found this one website, and I remember looking at it, and I thought, I couldn't believe what it was saying. I couldn't believe the predictions that it was showing for 2025.
Yeah. Okay.
And I kept the snapshot, and then whenever this came back up out on the internet, sometime last year, and I went to that website, they've completely changed it. Its look completely changed it, and I was like, "Thank God, I took a snapshot of this."
Yes. Yes.
Because apparently other people did too, because the same snapshot was showing. So I'll have to send that to you. We can discuss that later. I'm sure you can explain it to
I'll
me.
dig out that book
Okay.
about the prognostication for a revolution in the early 22nd century, 21st. Oh, this is 21st century, right? Yeah, is that how that works? Anyway, yeah. And the whole point is, I think and it was based on a cyclic kind of thing, okay? And I think the reasoning was right. I think his choice of who would be the main actors in the revolution changed.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. But he didn't prognosticate the outsourcing of America,
Mm-hmm.
okay, that happened in the early 90s, where they couldn't find enough goddamn trucks to ship jobs and equipment out of the country. And that's, I don't know, there are those that say, oh, that didn't happen. It sure as hell did, It sure as hell did.
I think it's funny. I said something that I needed to send that to you, and Ron, send it to me, noob.
That's tough.
Not yet. I gotta get Charles to get in on this one first. Gotta get into this one first.
But yeah. So I look, we're creating a little chaos here, in the middle. We're and that the thing about that is it clarifies what we are and what our bottom line is, because we still have a bottom line. I think we pretty well established that the people on the outliers, they don't give a damn about anything.
You're right. They don't.
They don't have a bottom line, and there are so many of them that. And this was on some entirely different topic that that wrinkled my feathers last week. Okay, that these people that keep saying, well, humanity is just naturally evil. We're awful. We're a scourge upon the earth.
Oh yes.
Okay? And those people really bother me. You know what? If you think you're so fucking bad, do the rest of the world a favor. Check out. And
this is true.
Those of us here who have a basic, still have a floor,
While you're talking about that, I'm going to disappear for just about 2 seconds. I'll be right back.
2 seconds. You got 2 seconds. And that was in a we were talking about war in the aftermath of the beginnings of the Ukraine situation. Yes, war is bad. War is a problem. War is something that we have lived with for, as far as I can tell, about 8,000 years. But something that I spoke of at that time was that I wish someone would just come out and show me that, okay, the human race in general has had the same form and fashion for the last 150, 200,000 years. Show me an example of a war outside that, what do I say, even give it 10,000 years, okay? Show me an example of a war. Show me an example of widespread human genocide before then. And believe me, if there were piles of bones 10 feet high, they would have shown up in the archaeological record, and they don't exist. So, what you doing? You're back?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Good
deal.
Okay. So that was my, and I don't know. I don't really. And that was when it's all we're just inherently evil. We cannot escape the ravages of war. We did it for 140,000 years. I think it's time to try something else. It's not working anymore. We are too powerful to allow that side of our makeup to rule us anymore. We've got to find another way. I don't know. I don't necessarily know what that is.
Well, isn't that why the aliens are here?
I hope so.
I
absolutely hope so.
It's not working.
I hope they got their laser beams tuned in, to knocking out, the first barrage of nuclear missiles coming out of any country.
Well, they didn't stop us from bombing Japan, so.
Well, that was.
Is that a fluke?
I'll give them that we kind of snuck that one under the radar.
I don't know. We did a lot of testing out in Nevada.
The other thing is, it's just possible that they said, we'll let them have this one or two just to see how bad it can be. Yeah.
They let us do that because Japan took out Pearl Harbor. They were letting us serve our karma.
Yes. I do not have the figure in my database for the populations that were destroyed at Hiroshima or Nagasaki.
Oh, I don't even want to know. If you told me, I don't want to know.
It is way, way more than died at Pearl Harbor.
We gave them their ass, and we took out their citizens, and that's just awful.
Oh, well, and we didn't really need to do that,
but it worked.
Yes, it definitely did.
It worked.
Firebombing Tokyo worked too.
Yes.
I believe the casualty figures on that, which was not that far before the first nuclear bombs, we had pretty much had free skies over the free skies over Japan at that time, and there were like 7 million people killed in that bombing.
It was. Hold that thought, kiddies. Isn't that why the aliens are here? Next episode of Pirate Radio.
Yes, isn't that why the aliens? I hope. I would hope and pray that because I'm losing faith. Although so far the situations which I think I heard about just lately, of times mostly in the 80s where we were within inches of getting into a nuclear exchange with the one of them was just following the shoot down of KAL 007 that strayed over the Kamchatka Peninsula and was shot down because because there had been exercises in that area, and they thought it was a military spotlight. Or at least that was their excuse. I don't think even. Yeah, I just don't think they would have done that. But anyway, just following that, they had a situation where there was a launch system failure that sent a launch signal to the Soviet missile bases that there had been a nuclear launch from the United States. And the officer in charge said, no, that didn't happen. Yet.
Yeah, and exactly. Yet.
Until it could be confirmed. That was one. And there was another one on the other side of the continent that I don't remember exactly why it had happened. But and a third one that nobody really talks about was the assault that was the presumed assault on Cuba and during the missile crisis. If the thing that the United States didn't know was that the Soviets already had nukes in Cuba, ready to use them. And any widespread assault would have been fought with against nuclear weapons, and then all hell would have broken loose.
Yes.
So I don't know whether that was whether that was humans with a little bit of empathy or forethought, or aliens that caused those things to happen. I can't say for absolute certain, but I'm glad they did happen.
Oh, yes.
Now, I'm glad for some reason, those people involved in those final momentary decisions decided that, no, I'm not going to do this. And sometimes, I've been saying for a while that the key to the next stage of freedom is to say no. Just no.
I think we're getting good at that.
I
think we're kind of getting good at that right now. We're tired of everybody's shit.
I think the middle is learning to say no.
Well, we're gonna have to. I mean, we're absolutely gonna have to.
We've decided that the fringes, the extremists are out of control. They are just bonsai bonkers.
You're right. Oh yeah. By the way, Ron wanted this to be a call-in show, which I don't have a clue how to do that, but
me either. Well, I guess I could just publicize the StreamYard, but then that would be only people who have StreamYard or who are willing to.
Well, I mean, we could send them a link and they could join in, but they have to use their camera, or you're out of the studio.
Yeah.
Oh, so I'll be the bouncer next week.
Ooh.
That's what I'll do. We'll send random people,
open lines, and
sure.
Maria's name next week will be the bouncer.
I'll be the bouncer. But let me tell you something really quick. You know what we talked about last night? I was talking about the movie and stuff. I printed out stuff so to talk about tonight. We didn't touch it. We didn't even get near that subject.
Good.
So I'll just save it for next week.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just
Sometimes,
that subject
sometimes the conversation just leads itself, you know.
and that subject just
And
totally
we didn't
fascinates me.
have, and we didn't really have very many uh, pregnant pauses, you know,
No,
sitting there uncomfortably trying to think of something to say today. It
correct.
kind of worked itself out.
I
Because I
kind of
was
think
a bit
the
scattered when it started.
I kind of think the frogs have
The
taken
frogs are
care of most of
quieting
that.
down, and the sun's going down, and it's nice and restful and peaceful, just
It
the way we like
is. 2 hours till I'll
it.
be going to bed.
And then a C-17 goes over at 500 feet.
I really wish I could have called you at that time and let you listen to that. I mean, and then the next one was at 20,000 feet. So, I
Yeah,
mean, that was just a little bit louder.
those are big planes.
And it went just
Those
the
are
south of
planes.
me.
Yeah.
I was like, holy cow. But I love, and there was one, and I do not remember what Brent told me, but there was something that uh, I was out in the backfield on the four-wheeler and we were checking on cows. This was probably about 6 years, 8 years ago. Doesn't matter.
Okay.
And all of a sudden, I mean, we're driving through the field, and all of a sudden, I look up, and there's this blacked out, huge, huge, had the propellers on the side that
Mhm.
went overhead. Not that, not like right overhead. And I'm like,
Yeah.
how did we not hear it coming?
Mhm.
Of course, we were on the four-wheeler. You're not going to hear
Yeah.
that. And then when it went over, and it was like it had no numbers on it, it was completely blacked out,
Okay.
totally blacked out. And when I went to Tiffany's
Mhm.
last October, and I was talking to somebody about it. I was like, "Tell me what kind of plane this could have been."
Okay.
Tiffany's husband was like across the room, and he heard me, and he told me exactly what it was. And he said they use those
C-130.
for. I don't know. I don't.
Okay.
I think that's right. I think that's right.
Yeah.
It was huge,
Oh yeah.
and he said they use those for surveillance, and I'm like, over my farm.
That's
What the
they
hell did I do?
they use those planes. The C-130s have been used for everything,
Yeah,
from
and I
surveillance
was
to the ones that they could circle. Okay, they could go into a pattern and circle around a location,
yeah, I'm really
okay,
glad they didn't.
and fire on it from all angles with a 105 millimeter howitzer.
You know, I,
That's
d-
it shells this big. Yeah. Yeah.
I've not been into that much stuff. Yeah, I badmouth all of the alphabet agencies, and I talk about things maybe I shouldn't have, but nothing for that to come overhead.
No, we have a National Guard contingent just northeast of me.
Mhm.
They run a pattern in
Yeah,
the summertime. On the weekends, National Guards they fly. I'll have to get some pictures of them. They fly by quite close and low.
mhm.
I-
I've not seen one since. Never saw one before, and I've not seen one since.
the thing that really gets me is okay. I mean, it doesn't get me. Yeah, it does a little bit. They always fly exactly the same pattern, and I'm saying within a few yards
Mhm.
of exactly the same pattern at exactly the same altitude.
Yes.
Whether that is part of their training to run it that way or
Mhm.
not, I don't know. But
Yeah,
it's kind of cool and it's kind of scary. It's, it
it is.
depends on how I'm feeling that day.
You're exactly right. It's pretty scary. But
Oh
yeah,
God, yes.
kind of cool. King's got great points. Oh, and Oofy, some of those black planes are the size of a football field and very quiet until they're right over you. And it was. I
Yes.
could not believe I couldn't hear something like that coming.
There's not, well, the same thing with a lot of the helicopters now, is you don't hear them coming.
Mhm.
You hear them going, you hear them go over, but you do not hear, they have tuned it to such a point that there's very little sound going forward.
You know, the Chinooks.
Mhm. That's the
I
one.
love those.
That's the one with the two rotors.
They will come. They fly sometimes kind of north of here.
Mm-hmm.
There for a long time, I could see all of them, and then it was like they changed their flight pattern, and then they were flying like behind the trees,
Mm-hmm.
which was probably, I'm sure that is by design, because if you do the same flight pattern constantly, I mean, you can't become predictable.
Yes.
That keeps you out of harm.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm such a predictable animal.
Yes.
I need to change up my schedule.
Predictability is one of our constant characteristics.
Mm-hmm.
Fortunately, we're not entirely predictable. We all have a little bit of the chaos thing,
Right,
in our bones.
right.
So,
Yeah, we do.
and
I'm full of chaos. One of these days, it shall be unleashed.
mm, like I said, it's the spice. That's the spice. Yeah.
That's what it is. There you go. That's
I don't want any of that boring stuff. I want things to change because I can't believe that they have gone, like I said, for 50 years now without changing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and that's not saying that things haven't changed from 1970 until now. They have changed immensely, but it certainly isn't the changes I thought they were going to be in 1970.
Right.
They've been quite different.
Mm-hmm.
Some of those things have been good. Some of those things have been not so good.
Right.
But it has changed. It just didn't change. It certainly didn't change the way I thought it would. Let me see.
Oh me.
Birds. Well, hey, I think
We've gone 2 hours, Charles.
I've run out of coffee.
Oh, well, I'm almost out of bourbon.
Oh my God.
Ooh,
See there?
ooh. Look, I said I'm almost out of bourbon, and the frogs like died. They all just died.
Those are Kentucky frogs.
They are. They really are.
Kentucky peepers.
That's right.
Where's the bourbon?
That's right. I just sent them out, and they just shut up. And I'm like, oh.
Okay. No, we're gonna wrap it up. And thanks everybody for being here and hanging out with us. And it's always an unexpected pleasure. Maria?
Hopefully next time we'll talk about exorcisms and mental problems.
Oh, that sounds like a winner. Yes, very good topic. Okay, everybody, signing off from Ohio and Kentucky and Survivor Circle. Till next week, love y'all. Bye.